Welcome to Astro Mondays, everybody. My name is Ra of Earth, and we're about to pull up Christopher Witecki so that we can get the astrological download for this week. You know, even the greats in psychology, which is my background, like Carl Jung, were looking into people's natal charts and making they were pattern recognizing, which is an essential human trait, about where the moment of birth and what was happening in the heaven. It says poor connection. All right, so where was I? I was talking about Carl Jung. I was talking about pattern recognition. What's up, Christopher?
Hey, brother, how's it going?
Good, good. I was
Enjoying
just,
these 20s?
huh?
The step 20s? I mean, are you enjoying life? How's life?
Life is it's evolving. You know, I was
Hmm.
thinking just like how dynamic the world is right now, and it feels like we're all capable of it. But if you go back 12 years, 20 years, and you start thinking about how life was then, it's definitely way different than it is now. And so,
Hmm.
quite the show. It's basically been my thought this morning, is that like this is this is quite the show that we all get to live in. But yeah, other than that, I feel good. I feel more capable. I'm putting more things on my plate, uh, and able to handle it.
Hmm. Was that your concern, being thrown off balance as a Libra, you think? Or,
Um, I don't know if I was is that my concern?
well, putting more on your plate seems to be what you were cautious of. And I was just wondering, which is great. I need that trait. I
Yeah.
need that trait to be cautious.
I
But I
actually
was
do
just
say
wondering, like,
no a lot. I say no a lot. I'm
I
completely
got you.
forgiving to myself on me
Mhm.
not doing anything. Um, and so the real thing that I was alluding to, though, was after talking to you last week and the other weeks, I was like, I need to start moving again. Like that has been my like life's art, and where I find gratification and joy. And so just like going to the gym, messing around a little bit for like 15, 20 minutes, nothing, no big deal, but going outside, doing some push-ups every once in a while, like all the stuff I used to do,
Mm,
you know, in the last phase of my life that I haven't been doing for the last like 7, 8 years. So I've been
mm.
adding, like, that's the extra stuff on my plate, like rolling out and stretching and mobility and working out. I've been really just doing fascial maneuvers for like a few years. And so now I'm just adding more stuff onto that.
Mhm. Interesting. You say it goes back like 8 years, as far as your change is concerned? Because I
Yeah,
feel
I would
like,
say like 2006, 16, 2017, 16, I started like phasing out of that, and now I'm like getting back into it.
uh, well, that was when Uranus first entered into Taurus, which for you, for all Libras is their, transformation of their boundaries. So it's like you've been under this constant gun of transforming yourself, what you're comfortable with or not. It's almost at the end of it now. So at the very end, you're like going, okay, here's where the lines are, where you're starting to do that. I've also had a trend though, since, I would say since COVID, where COVID itself just jolted my life to a point where, and I worked inside for a living, but still it jolted to my life to a place where I fell out of mine. I couldn't go to the gym. Like I had a routine every day they lived by too. And now suddenly you had all this burden on it. And so I fell out of that practice at that point. And then there's like survivor, fight or flight you add on top of that. And so you then even then repeat old issues, so it's interesting. And so I feel it's coming together too. I mean, we're in the last lap of Cancer, which is like kind of how you want to feel about the whole future. Like it's two ways of looking at it. It's basically why you feel secure. So why do you feel secure? Why is everything going to be okay? Why can you sleep at night? What can you really feel about life that makes you feel comfortable and grounded and connected? Routine is one of them. That's with the Earth in Capricorn, people make a lot of decisions this time of year. It's almost like New Year's Eve regret. It's like you had all these promises on New Year's Eve, and finally at this point of the year, you're like, oh crap, I haven't lived up to one of them. Like when Earth now hits Capricorn, the sun's opposite Cancer. So that kind of like how connected, from Cancer to Capricorn is like, are you going to survive or not? That's the spectrum really. And it comes from how you feel to the decisions you make. So now in this particular week of Cancer, everyone is getting an opportunity to kind of go, okay, that sort of security for those reasons didn't work because I didn't grow where I wanted to grow. And most likely it's because you didn't emotionally nurture yourself at the level you need to. So it's like, think about an athlete or a performer, like a ballerina or an athlete who does any sport. Their whole life is keeping their body in shape, their whole life, and they're brilliant at it. And they do it, it's their whole life to think about it, right? That's how they get those bodies. So it's like, if you are having a hard time in the slightest, you could give yourself a lot more care and just look to an athlete if you want to know how to do it. Like it's nutrition, it's sleep, it's everything. So a lot of people have to invest in their body here in Capricorn, especially. By the way, like you're like right in tune because I think we all need to get more aware of our body because we're about
And
to realize. Go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, so that's exactly the thing that I was feeling is
Mm,
so I closed my gyms, I went onto a journey into like another direction where it didn't have to do with my body. And I thought that my body was going to start getting better, feeling better, because I got a lot of injuries, a lot of malfunction, and it's
mm,
just been going down. Like the less I do, the worse I feel. And then finally, especially the last 7 days, have just been getting like sick of that, and I've been actually feeling more into my body. I can feel all the parts of my body now when I like walk up the stairs. I'm like feeling everything. I'm feeling more in tune with my body. But yeah, it got to the point where I was like, okay, I need to go in the other direction because me not doing anything all day is not where it's at.
yeah, well, yeah. I think we, in fairness to ourselves, like it's no sin. You got carried away thinking about conscious something other part of your consciousness, right?
Right.
Like, and you really can't focus on too many at once. Honestly, all of them would just move too slowly if you have time. Astrology kind of point where we end up working on ourselves anyways, and that's good because if you just let it kind of choose, then you're just always going to get the house cleaned. But for me, I think a lot of the stuff in the last 2, 3 years in particular was the release of karma. That was like the number one mandate by Saturn. And so that means kind of reliving patterns you've been in and putting out that fire and, oh, it wasn't a fire after all. And, oh, I guess I'm over that. Like, that's what we've been doing for the last 2 years. So for us all to be off our game is completely reasonable. And it's literally the opposite of being in the moment. Now we're being called to the moment in a big way. And that's what the next year is about. Saturn and Neptune returning back into Aries after they sit back into Pisces. So being back into Pisces means there's going to be a moment where we're going to be like, who is my God anyways? Like one more last look at it, like, what's it for? It's my highest purpose? Okay. And like you kind of reassemble what your highest purpose is pretty much, from this late fall into spring of next year. So you're just kind of like, because you now test yourself out, you can see what's possible. It's the wisest point we've ever been as a race because now we're kind of like, okay, we've seen all the tricks, we've seen all of everything, right? At the same time with Saturn and Neptune in early Aries, you suddenly feel this strength where you haven't felt, which is both your destiny, Neptune, and your strength, Saturn. Now, our lead astrologer, Robbie Hunt, like went back like before Christ. We cannot find ever the conjunction of those two planets in early Aries. This is literally, from what we can tell, mankind's definition of what this is, which is kind of in the early Aries, which is like your ego.
Okay, so can you just elaborate a little or re-say what you mean by just like what this is that we're going into right now? Like, what's the first time?
Well, I'll redefine it absolutely. So Neptune's been in Pisces since 2012, and so since 2012, the Mayan, fear of the world ending. From that to now, we've been actually clearing out all of our karma by seeing it and being confronted with it and having a choice and having a choice and having a choice. So that's a long time, focused on having a choice, at least 12 years, right? Plus. So we've now seen all the choices. There's no more boogeyman in your consciousness. You can assume that you have pretty much, faced everything that was necessary in this life, at least karma-wise, right? Not that you want to do, but like the karma you're here to pay, pretty much paid off. I mean, it's like from what astrology can tell you, like we don't see anything serious heading for that area for a long time. So we know if you're living this life, you're done. Like you're starting to learn things, but it's not like the baggage you were carrying. So Saturn and Neptune is now moving into Aries, which is like, okay, redefine yourself now. Redefine yourself now that you're not this anymore because all this you bed was all guilt and wound and damage and shit from past lives and had nothing to do with this life, even though it felt like it did. It wasn't, and you're done. You made your choice, and you will now, move from that point. So now in Aries, it's like, well, who am I? What am I? What am I here to do? Like, let's do it. It's the rebirth of yourself. But interestingly enough, the rebirth of yourself in a time that pretty much still allows you to be yourself. Even in like the areas that we think don't have freedom per se, there's still a lot of yourself in that energy. So we have the power to be ourselves already. Like nothing in the world so far has made it a law not to. But we know for the first time that we can. We are our own
Mhm.
creator, our own
Yeah,
designer, right? It's
that's
a big leap.
yeah, that's actually what I was referring to when we first opened up, and I said like this is such a dynamic time. I didn't have the words to explain what I was feeling, but that's
Mm,
essentially what I feel like is that like the world, like everyone's becoming awakened to what's going on. Like everything's out on the table. Like
hmm
everything's known. Like ancient civilizations, the money system, the healthcare system, like everything's out for people to know. It's really
hmm
like, are you going to look at it and what are you going to do about it? And who are you going to be? Like, that's essentially the question that's upon us all right now.
Yes, basically. I mean, you have to. I don't know how big the shift gets for people, but I know for those who are stuck in a particular belief structure, like they're diehard this or they're diehard that, it will be harder because your inflexibility to perhaps we didn't know it all, and so perhaps we made choices when we didn't know enough information, right? But you were wrong essentially about whatever it is you were doing. You were wrong. It did not lead to what you thought it would lead to. That's okay. Everyone does that. Like we all fuck up. I think it's this way or that way. Like, don't get caught up in self judgment that you were wrong because there is no wrong when you're the creator. You create your life.
Mhm.
How could it ever be wrong? It's
Right.
exactly what you obviously needed to do with your power. And
That's a good
you had,
reminder for everyone.
yeah, it's like you had to and you did, and now you know. And that's how the game is played. The game is played.
Right.
You do your best and then you find out if it worked or not. Like even angels are like, we'll see. Like if you ask about it, like so we're in a magical point. Like this is the most magical time Earth has ever been in, and I had my own like realizations of that in the last 2 weeks, even my own, where I just realized a couple of things that changed the whole thing for me. One is that I now look at this life as a game. I think it's a game we're playing in heaven. I actually think this is a game. I actually think this for a higher self. This is like a weird game where we can like project ourselves into this reality and we can like look like it and feel like maybe from a distance of what it would be like in that world. And then we come back.
Yeah.
And so the perception of death and everything, yes, it's all true. And yes, you feel all the pain, but I kind of just now realize it's like it's all not even real, right? Like it doesn't matter. And the only thing that does matter is what you make matter. That's part of how the gravity works down here. So that may sound stupid or simple. I don't know how it sounds to the other person, but for me, it's epiphany. It's like, oh my God, that means, like that changes everything. One, it should take away the fear that like you can fuck it up. It's like fuck it up. You projected yourself in this reality. So it's just a mistake. It's a not the what you're going for. You know what I mean? Like, and I think as avatars, I think when we pray, this is another big conclusion. I think when we pray, we're praying to our highest self. That's who we pray to most of the time because the goal is to get the higher self and the lower self one. That's what ascension is. When your higher self and lower self are one, fuck. Now you are in the game and have full map of outside the game at the same time and every game you play, your past lives. So I think what we're really fighting for in ascension is basically full resolution of our consciousness from here to there. That means we cannot be in the middle of it. That means we cannot let anyone else be in the middle of it. It's like you connect to your higher self through prayer, meditation, however you want to do. But I believe there's a part of you in heaven right now that is in a dormant state that's making this happen. And we don't go to heaven. I believe we are there. I can think that's the huge shift that I had. Like we are there, which means there's nothing to fear.
Can you put in, first of all, the word game is resonant with me as well. I like that's how
Really.
I view it as well because it also implies practice and you said if you guys missed it, he said mistake, right?
Take.
Like
Yeah.
like we get to do this over and over and over again, even within our own lifetime. Even every day is a new take. Essentially,
Totally.
every moment is. So
In
when
fact,
you
it's your take on it that causes there's your power. Your take on it is your power.
Yeah, and even sin comes from the word, it's like an archery term, right? It means that you're off target. So
Mm.
like when you actually look at our words like mistakes and sins, it doesn't mean you're going to hell or that everything is like burn it down and you're done. Like you don't fail anything. It's just you just dealt yourself a new deck of cards and now you go from that deck of cards. Um, you go
Yes.
from here. I'm curious about when you say go to heaven,
Uh huh.
because I think the way that religion puts it, like just like classic Christianity is like you take your like who you know of yourself and you go to this place and then you're like interacting with everybody else who's an individual. Are we still individuals in this place or like the after death,
We
or
are.
are we like merged back into the
No,
God figure?
you're yourself, and all their thoughts on the inside of you is very similar from what I understand. The way you think when you're sitting down looking outside the window is the same way you think in heaven. So thinking is the same. Which is interesting. So it's like the processing of thought forward is the same. Now we were trapped in a like an illusion and assumptions in this lifetime. So we pitch off everything but a perspective, but we come down and we don't tell ourselves about the other options. So there's this thing of like letting the avatar of yourself go down and not know it's an avatar. Like that's part of the game. And also what you learn about yourself, like, your nature, you see your nature looking down at yourself, not knowing the game. And so there's a learning from above the whole time of watching what this little avatar does, this little creation, this timeline does, and how it works, and how much of myself can I bring down there. And in a way, I think for the gamers, like I realized that my other blow in mind was like, oh my God, the whole generation of gamers, like they don't even know what they're practicing for, but they're like the most practiced. Like the gamers like actually are the most skilled at this. Like they know if they realize that, life is a game and they're playing a game in a game, like holy moly, because they're good at games. You know,
Yeah.
and I think God does make it game-like. I mean, everything I remember that was holy in my past lives was very game-like. I couldn't believe that in that moment I was with someone who didn't seem to take it seriously. I mean, like if you meet people who are masters, like they're never serious. You're like, what the fuck, man? Like part of your bitter side is like, what? This, is this for real? And it's like, yeah, because the more I study, the more I realize like life is joy, and so yeah, it's all a game.
Okay, so here's a question I'm excited to ask you, but I don't know if I have the words for it. But like if we are this individual sort of heaven self, this greater version of self, and we come down and experience physical matter, then the positions of the planets and the stars also impact the heaven realm as well, right? Like
Inform. I wouldn't say impact. Because
in
the heaven realm, I call it the company of heaven because I think that's the best way to call it. It actually runs like a company. It runs like a company. It's very efficient. It has its rules. It's like an office in perpetual motion. It's like even the people who teach you in heaven are like from other dimensions, and like they're like interning to teach you. Like there's a whole fucking company, a structure, a
yeah,
processing consciousness. Like it is
love it.
fucking organized, and it does not miss a beat. As far as the beauty of it. And I think the orchestra of what creation is like brilliant. But yes, you go up there and you're processed, and you meet with, from what I understand, this is from a lot of input and my own intuition, feeling through it and remembering. You basically go up there and you start to get into soul groups, and then the soul groups all do like this group review of your lives, and you watch each other's lives and you learn from each other, and you have like discussion groups. There's like very Socratic like education, like, and then you meet with your counselor. You have a counselor, angelic, and that is like working through a lot like your guidance counselor. It's like, okay, that life is this and this is that. And there is like only one rule from what I understand is that you have to complete the circle. So whenever you start something, like I'm going to be a football star, you have to complete the circle. Like you can't, like you have to go back, you have to finish the circle. You can never start a circle and not finish it, but you have eternity to finish the circle. So it's like this is what karma is. Like, oh, a lot of times it's your fortune in life. It's like, whoa, fortune in career. Yes, because his circle was broken when this team of pirates came in and killed him and his family. So he has to complete the circle. So he looks lucky now. It's like, well, you're fucking lucky, man. Everything happens to you. Yes, it's engineered to get him right back because the lesson is from there on. The lesson is not any time before that.
So complete the circle, you mean like from all different um,
Perspectives. Hmm.
perspectives
Hmm.
of the
Yep.
thing. Like
And
you're
sometimes,
wealthy and you're on the opposite end of the spectrum.
yes, there's a full spectrum of the character, and it's a couple lessons in one. Because one, uh, you need to know that when you rob that family, this happened to them, and this happened to them, and and this happened to you, and this happened to you, and so this is what's the consequence of that. And we'll look at it from the hospital ER driver in one life. We'll look at it, who just saved you in that moment or didn't. We'll look at it from, being the one who now is attacked. We'll look at it from the family member of what it did to your parents. Like you're going to see all sides of what that did, full 360, of how it understands all mankind. So it's like, that's how it affects all mankind. Then the next wowie is like, and you are God. That means you just hurt yourself. Why did you hurt me and us? Why did you hurt us? It's the next level of learning. We're all one. So why would you do that to us? It's like, there's this how God treats God lesson on top of that lesson, because it's all creation, and his creation creating that creation creating and that creation creating. That's all it is waves of creation. Why would you stop it? What's wrong? What do you understand? So it's like allowing the focus to flow through you is like a whole nother lesson. And that's probably the next lesson for humankind. Like now you probably know, I mean, it's time for you to know that you are connected to this whole world and that you are creating it. And, it sounds fabulous and magical, but you got to try. Otherwise you won't know. The thing is that we've now made some steps and strides to how to tap into this consciousness on a regular basis, and reliably refer to it in our lives for major decisions. Like I refer to my psychic side for major decisions and guidance, and it just tells me and I go and it works. It's like, so you have a connection to the whole plan, your higher self, everything, and you can start to walk down that pace of spiritual technology, or you can look for material technology to save you or take you to the next level too. Because some people are going to go that way, like kind of merge with the machine.
Okay, first of all, are you in your house right now?
Yeah.
I like that background. It's
Oh,
it's 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 dynamic. There's a lot to look at.
thank you very much. Yeah, when you
I
space
haven't,
out.
yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't seen that. Um,
I'm just trying to shoot in different angles. I'm just getting my creativity's out a lot right now. Is yours? Like I just want to be creative in everything I do all of a sudden.
well,
Really
I
important.
do feel a shift of like what I'm doing with energy. It's like
Mm,
I'm shifting, and there's energy pushing me with creative force into a
mm,
little bit newer directions.
hmm
Um,
Exciting ones.
yeah. So the back to like what you were saying about this time where we're discovering ourselves. Is there anything else happening, like big picture,
hmm
uh, this week that we should be aware of,
I mean, really, I'm
or this
speaking to this
month,
picture.
or this
This picture
year?
is the week. I mean, this week is the picture. Like this week, we had our full moon last week, and that was, tough for me. But I had a lot of things compounded, so I don't know if everyone got it as tough as me. Like it was a spot where I was holding a lot of stuff I had to let go of. But Capricorn is what you hold on to. And my problem is always that the stuff I hold on to, I equate it to being strong, and it's sometimes it actually weighs me down more than it makes me strong. So and my resistance to change is because I'm concerned that makes me strong, that keeps me strong in life. So a lot of times my resistance to change, that I feel like this is what makes me strong, I have to be weak or not strong for a period of time to get to the next strength. And that has always been my hardship right there. It's making it across that passageway of having faith. What I mean? Like it's going to come back when you stop holding on to this and you allow yourself to open up. Either way, I think everyone somewhere was holding on too strong, and the full moon was like, "Don't hold on to this so strong. You know, you don't need it like you feel you do." And this is an emotional security issue. You're emotionally insecure if it's not having it you're that way. It's that you're emotionally insecure. You're emotionally insecure because you haven't maintained your emotions. They need attention from you always.
Right.
And if they don't get attention from you always, then you will end up putting it on other people's shoulders to do and play all kinds of weird games with the world to get more of it, and play victim, play all these things so you
Yep.
can milk other people's attention and milk other
Right.
people's nurturing. And it's like that's over. We can't do that anymore. Everyone has to be emotionally responsible for their own feelings, and to recognize that feelings are a major part of life and that you just can't assume anything about them. And nothing teaches us about how to handle them either. Nowhere in school, nowhere. It's like, be quiet,
Right.
Jimmy. It's like, there's no like, be quiet, Jimmy. What are you upset about? It's be quiet, Jimmy. Like that's always been the case. So, anyways, we're at this point in the ends of Cancer. What you allow yourself to, what the goal is to bring yourself emotionally to what it will feel like when you're successful. So, when life is successful and perfect, what does that feel like? And in yourself, what does that feel like? What does it feel like for life to be just peachy keen? What does that feeling feel like? And memorize it. Bring it up, feel it, memorize it. Bring it up, feel it, memorize it. Bring it up, feel it, memorize it. Keep memorizing the feeling of awesome, right? If there's a little hint of excitement, if you use ingredients to do it, it's kind of like a day at Disneyland, but this happens, but that, it's like, it could be like something you concoct your imagination that would bring you to that feeling. What matters is that you actually feel it. You can make yourself feel it, which you can. Everyone can actually direct their feelings any direction they want. Ask an actor. They do it every time, every show, every film. They are directing their feelings where they want. It's so possible. And when you do that, you direct your future. Your future is the feeling you are now. So what you feel now is what comes later. And so this is why some things don't want you to ever feel good, because you'll never direct your life except into more chaos. The more you allow yourself to feel bad of chaos, the more chaos will come. It's whatever you allow yourself to feel over time. That is the rhythm of ascension, that feeling. It goes up and down a little bit or whatever, but that feeling is really what's guiding all of us on the inside. And not only guiding, but when you respond to the feeling with, yeah, I want more of that, then the feeling like an emotion builds like emotion. And you start to get passionate about it, which is all of emotion, feelings, feeling about that, and feeling about that. If that happens, and then I'll feel this way. And so you get this like powerful thread of emotion and passion. That ultimately is what Mother Earth responds to. You know, the planet is actually our mama and does like send message to all of us. She's a big reason why we end up at the wrong place at the right time. It's just from the energy of the earth itself is like there's a you know, you're gonna get pulled that way. And so those come through our feelings. I have a feeling I should go to the store. I got a feeling I should talk to Barb. I feel Mother Earth because it's all collective consciousness. She's really the grid that holds all that communication together. So that's more earthly magic than it is spiritual. But on the higher level, what you're vibrating over time on Earth is what spirit starts to make way for, more of that. And so you, in more long-term sense, direct your future that way too, your fate. So it comes down to
Those,
how you feel today. That's it.
yeah, those feelings of, it's almost like guided energy. Like you
Mm,
kind of, I feel like it's not really adrenaline, but it's like a surge of energy thinking about a decision in one way. I feel like for me, those are
mhm,
getting stronger, more prevalent, and I'm trusting them. Like it just feels so matter of fact. I mean, I've always read the map of reality is what I call it, like the symbols and synchronicities. Um,
mm,
like some of the deep, like original psychotherapists all talked about that stuff before everything got washed away and now it's just like prescribing medicine. But synchronicity has always been a thing. Like Carl Jung, the collective unconscious, it's something I've always paid attention to. But I do feel that it's getting like almost more tangible.
mm.
Would there be any reason why these feelings would be getting more like I would be embodying them or feeling like I'm embodying them more tangibly?
Mhm. There's a few layers actually. I mean, the biggest is we're upon the age of Aquarius. So the age of Aquarius is an entire age where human beings are energetically aware of their energetic connection to everything. And so they are aware of their energetic connection to everything. And this is where a full awakening in the sense of nothing is being held now. You know, everything is being with, you know, I do believe there's individuals in like temples and, you know, pyramids, like in special cases where they, as an unaware person, was able to witness and see stuff, particularly with, you know, plant medicine to sort of put you there for a few minutes or for a few hours and then, you know, simulated basically what it was like inside of you chemically and then took you away again. And so, of course, that's not sustainable, but like it did keep like truth alive in the sacred sciences and whatnot that this is possible and that we lost it for some reason, or we lost it because this is what it is. Every galactic age of this. I mean, sometimes they know, like, oh, every galactic age just happens. But nonetheless, we're entering into it now. And the generation who is alive now, you know, the one who is the fittest, which I believe is Gen X at the moment, like as far as wisdom and fittest, I believe now the Gen Xers, that X gets revealed. And the revelation of the Gen X is that we've come to really bridge, you know, the two worlds together and help them with Pluto and Libra that we have. We're learning the art of balance because we're going to kind of channel the energy to where it needs to go. And we know enough to make it happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone below us in younger age wants to know how it works. So they've already kind of are expecting it in a weird way. So it's kind of like the Harry Potter generation. I think it's about to unfold where the kids who grew up on Harry Potter and Marvel comics and who play video games are about to realize they are the most equipped to take over control of the earth. You know, by just knowing and agreeing upon things.
Yeah, it's actually crazy how true movies are. Like
But
especially the science fiction movies that seem like somebody creatively made it up. However, they do follow the laws of what seem to be reality.
mhm. Yeah, creation unveils creation regardless.
There you go.
You know,
Yeah.
you tap into creation to get those ideas. Those aren't yours. You know, every
Right.
idea is that ever is possible is already imagined. That's, you know, apparently every path, everything God imagines, actually every variable is created already, like in creation. The fun part is choosing which variable we want to realize who we are. You know, like I'll try this variable with that variable.
And
You know,
I really liked what you said about psychedelics. Like there's this guy Stanislav Grof. He was doing a lot of the LSD research and discovered like that people were going into these like past lives, even though they're
mm,
not past, but basically able to validate through asking like somebody like was a Egyptian embalmer, like through a trip, and then they
Mm.
talked to an Egyptologist about like all of these things that this guy was telling them that they would do in Egypt. They went and validated it, and so he was able to validate that there's something else that's connecting us. And they were just easily being able to experiment with thousands of people through LSD, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you and me need to go drop acid right now to experience that for, like you said, a few seconds or a few minutes, because that connection's always there. And so when people have that choice of psychedelics or not, what is your relation to people?
For obviously I can't take responsibility for that choice, but I will say that my advice will always be the same. It's not something that you just hear about and go, yeah. It's something you've already been thinking about to yourself. It's like you've already been thinking about it. You've already been called upon it before this video, before any other time. It's a pattern, and you've thought about it a few times. It's like anything's come up a few times. Well, that's something to be looked at. Like your higher self is like, hey, 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 hey. I think to some degree our higher self is sending like these clues. When we see clues like, oh my God, that's the same thing as grandma's scarf. It's like I think that's our higher self going, come on, Padawan, come on, realize this, come on, it's over here, come on, figure it out. I really feel like there's a game like that happening, and I'm like, oh, of course, this part of me, mostly because I was paying attention to the right things, so. Um, that's basically my basic on it. Like from moving forward, in our life, what's really important this week to know is that the game is run by your feelings. I really want to drive that home. You know, um, that your understanding is not necessary. If you really want to win the game, it's like in a race car. Understanding as a driver, the fact that I understand the car, does that take me any further? Does that, do I need to understand why there's suddenly a tire in the road? Do I need to understand, that my car is starting on fire? Do I need to understand why that is? Or do I need to get the fuck off the road? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we are taking life completely not correct in the sense that we're trying to understand something before experiencing it. Like
Yes.
that approach is not the best way because it holds you up because the mind will never know. And the only way you know is if you feel and believe at the same time. So trying to understand is trying to believe it because everything falls in your other beliefs. But really, if you feel it, it will be right. If you feel it, it'll always be right. If it feels right, it's right. Like that is how primitive we work. Like if it really feels wrong, then don't. So if you're living in this field of emotion and sensory perception, you will always be right. Always. Always. If it feels right. Sometimes it feels right, but there's some confusion and you say yes too fast. In those cases, you should have slowed down and meditate on the feeling deeper if you felt like something pulling on you. But everything feels like, yeah. Well, then that's your answer. And
Yeah.
so we've been told that like our mind has the answer, and psychology has the answer, and education has the answer. No, it
This
actually doesn't. No, you're the only person who knows how to ride the ride you're making. You're the only person who knows how to ride your ride. No one knows how to ride your ride. Only you do. And the temperature is, does it feel right? And then it is. If it doesn't, then no, stop. Look, there's something wrong. Go into that. Why? Why does that feel weird? Sometimes it feels weird because it's happening in the past. Sometimes it feels weird because there's a no there, like, no, no, don't do it. Some part of you going, no, doesn't work for us. A hard part of us, whether it's your legs or your future of your career, some part of you doesn't feel right about it. Some part of you will be like, no, we'll resist. And so the resistance is how what you need to work on.
I also feel that this is a different dimension of communication that us humans will open up. And if you guys have had the pleasure of talking to somebody else, where they're not just communicating what they're thinking about something, but they're kind of working through what they're feeling about maybe a decision they're making or a topic that you guys are discussing, it opens another dimension up to our human perspective, which is beautiful. It feels really good. And so I invite everybody to start incorporating that into even business conversations about what you're feeling about a certain direction that you're going.
Yes, that's very good. I mean, that's an excellent piece of advice. So only this year have I incorporated that. I'll say, what do you think? And then I'll say, well, okay, what do you feel? Like forcing a feel a state response after the think. And they go right into it. Like there's no like, philosophical argument like, oh, I don't know about feelings and sure. They're just like, well, now that I feel about it, and they just go into it. I don't know if they're aware that I've helped them redirect there, but it's like It's it. It's almost like we're going back from the city into the tribe. You know, in the tribe, you could feel jackass over there doing that. And in the tribe, you can feel so and so's not having a good day. Well, his wife must not be making love at night. And, like that's the way we thought tribally, but we felt all that with each other. We felt all each other in the hunt. We felt all each other as a pack, like we were emotionally connected to everyone, and that's an amazing feeling because that feeling allows you really know that people are there for you. You can feel it. You can feel that so and so would help you and so would help you. And just feeling that in that tribe, the people who be there for you is like so want to cry, satisfying, because we don't feel that right now. We're completely disconnected from each other. We assume we are the problem. And that's what they want us to think that we're the problem, but we're not. The only problem is that people are not playing their own game, not playing their own game. They're not doing their own thing because they're afraid of, the other gamers. And the way the system is built is like, if you're in the game with your heart, then the whole game is in it for you. That's it. You know, they talk about like, for instance, like in China, there's like citizen spying going on and, building technology to, cross the road. Now you're punished. You can't go get a Coke. Like there's a lot of weird social repression trying to control, using technology to control you, which is interesting because the truth of the matter is we have control of the whole world and how it works simply by the way we allow ourselves to live in the moment. We have the final control of the individual. And there's no way that current technology can interfere with that, except maybe AI over time could train people again another level to talk themselves out of their magic. That's a possible threat we need to look at. AI could be talking out of your magic in the end over a long term, like I did over 20 years, so we don't even see the fruits of that kind of effort for 20 years in culture, but like we have got to wake up and just realize we control the ride. And so how you feel at the end of this week is the first huge pill that you give the universe to follow. So how you feel over the next week is you're programming the higher consciousness of, okay, this is the feeling. And so if you can manage to kind of hold the feeling of what your future could be until, the end of Cancer, you planted a major seed in changing your life. Because now you're saying, it has to all up to this emotionally.
All
Telling
right.
God how it has to all add up. And that is
Did
basically the
that start
program.
this week? Is it like Monday through Sunday sort of thing, or is it
Kind
accumulate?
of, well, today's step 22 days. So today's a day where you are working to figure out where you belong feeling. Where do I belong feeling? What feeling do I belong with?
Okay.
And so some people are just waking up going, Christ, it's not this one. I'll tell you that. I don't like the way this feels. That's what some people are waking up on that level today. It's not be this, I'll tell you that. Like that's good. That's the first place. If you didn't realize you were emotionally happy, you need to know. But you have to also know that your emotional happiness is like all the things you do to yourself and how you feel about all the things you do to yourself. So it's not just like this job or this whatever. You wanted it in the wrong job because you were unplugged from yourself so many ways. And you weren't paying attention to all sorts of feelings like that nagging, pain in the arm and that nagging this. And you ignored all that. And so that was every time your body, your soul trying to talk to you, tell you we got a problem here. So you have to realize you have to, on every level respond differently and nurture yourself into this feeling for the rest of your life. But there's one more layer that happens as a result. So as the sun goes into the Leo, that then lights up the heart chakra, which is the core of who you are. So the Leo is the core of who we are. It is the king of the jungle. Everything about you rotates your Leo side. Everything about you, whether you're aware of it or not. And the Leo side is your capacity to connect to creation and your heart to glow. So the more you love yourself, the more you glow, right? So self-love is taking God's energy and going, God, I'm great. God, I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. I'm God. I'm great. Like God, I'm great. Oh my God, I just love who I am. I just love who I am. I'm just the greatest thing on earth. I'm like, God, I love it. It's like if you really do love it and you feel it and you allow yourself to just only dwell on that, sure, you can pay attention to the problems you've made before, the mistakes you've had, but why? You are God for crying out loud and you love yourself. So, it's like it's a choice in where you go, like inside your deepest self. And so the way you care for yourself will determine how much you can open in Leo. Because if you're not caring for yourself, your heart is going to shy away and not want to talk. You have to care for yourself like a baby infant. You have to be there for yourself in the most childish way for your heart to finally relax and feel safe in your life. So you're literally learning how to nurture the Christ consciousness in you. If you want to go that direction, that is Christ consciousness, that creation and how creation feels. Christ consciousness is just how creation, creation, they make the same sound. And so in any culture, you're referring to the same thing, which is this creation of someone out of nothing, right? So on the biggest picture, we're tying ourselves to creation, which I don't think we've had since Atlantis, really. To have the wounds cleared and then to be introduced to it, that is what's miraculous, the two happening after one another. And so it makes sense when you know that Pluto's in Aquarius, and that means that we're all going to be going this direction. But to see it actually working and unfolding exactly as it was told is very fascinating. What a ride that we get to watch it.
Hmm. Yeah, people are talking about in the comments that their life is changing. Um, so before we get into the days of the week, I wanted to ask you how your launch went with the intro
Thank
to
you.
the step system.
It's going pretty well. In fact, I want to say actually, if Human Garage wants to join, we have a special code for them that'll give them $29 off, and that's in honor of Step 29, Gary. We're like, wait to make it 29. So it's and I'll tell you the code here in just a moment. I'll go look and see what it is. I forget at the moment, but I'll let you guys know. But it's $29 off, and this is actually the teaching of the step system. So a lot of people who are in Human Garage, in particular, ask, where to learn about this, and this is the first official place to learn about it. It's it's two courses, A and B, that start in Leo for a reason. They start in Leo, taking advantage of the fact that we're in our hearts, and so you can really search yourself and your heart each step of the way if this is bullshit or not. Like, really ask your heart what it believes and what it feels. So the timing is excellent. We find that when you start something like this during Leo season, it manifests pretty easily just by going through that. That's the 40 Days of Self-Love program we have. We saw that from that program. So ultimately, you're going to learn about every step. You're going to learn about how this works and how you self-realize. There's two versions, there's two levels to learn at. One is for being human, like just for personal reasons, and I highly recommend that because what that teaches you is sort of how to take control of your daily life, and you can start to understand. We'll have the chart of someone you have trouble with, like close to you and your family. You want a troubled family relationship because we want to help you understand why it is that's not working with that family member, where the blockages are. Start to give you an understanding of basic family step dynamics. And it's about what you would think. So there's an added layer. Then there's professional. And the professional level is a bit more, and what it's going to do is teach you how to keep yourself out of your client's life, like to keep yourself out of your interpretations of what's going on. A solid numerological way to look at that and go, oh, okay, that could be. I got to not maybe take that so seriously, because we bring ourselves to the table, and sometimes we can't, separate ourselves from the client in some areas. So it makes you aware, and then it makes you also aware of like, okay, how do I use the step system to make sort of a strategy going forward for the client that's like purely just like consciousness, not even change your life or make a decision, just point conscious here or there. So both are really powerful tools, and it's like one step a week. They're 7 weeks each. So, and they go live next Tuesday, and they'll be all live. I'll be teaching all these classes live. So this is the class being recorded, which I'm excited about because I'm better and I stream better myself when I'm live
Uh,
versus a recorded thing. Yeah.
so two questions: Does the professional program require any experience with the step system? That's one question, and the second question is: in the professional program, do you do you get everything that would be in the individual program?
Everything more professional.
Okay.
So I'm going to explain a lot of mechanics in professional. I think for personal, we're going to stick it to how to master your life. You don't have to understand how the step system works. Like, this is how you master your life. They both go to lectures. They go to lecture together. So the lecture itself is the first class in the week, and that lecture they both get. So as far as the information and teaching about step system, everyone gets everything. But then we have a lab every week. One long class is a lab, and that lab is very focused on what the outcome is. So that lab takes the information I said on Monday or Tuesday, and then focuses on your personal life, how to maximize your personal life. Here's some homework and assignments to the next lab, and that's where there's a lot more depth. Now, the professional, there's a lot more depth because I'm assuming you understand people in your own way. I'm assuming you understand your clients. I'm assuming you already have some history doing with work with people. And so I want to give you a tool you don't have that will give you like third party, like another affirmation that you're right. It'll give you another way of seeing if you're not right. It'll give you a structure if you don't have one with the way you work. Like, it just provides so much of a backbone, whatever you're doing, and support system for whatever you're doing. So I've traced, step system into a tarot. I've traced it into human design. I've traced it into obviously numerology. So it's actually the backbone of many modalities already because it's the way the universe operates. As far as consciousness and rotation of consciousness, that's just the way we're hard coded. Is my best guess, really. And you find you can analyze your whole life according to step system. You'll be like, fuck, I am in step 5 when it comes to this, and I am. You're like, you can't believe it. You can see it right there in front of your eyes. So to me, it's the code of how consciousness operates. I think it's a human conscious operating system. That's what I think the subsystem is. Human conscious operating system. So human conscious does operate. It's like knowing the basic of the underneath that controls both the machine, which is the body, and it controls the spirit. So it's like this in between spirit and the body as far as like how things cycle. And what the planets do is the planets force the timing of the cycle. So everything always moves up a step. Everything moves up a step. But like the moon moves up a step, like within an hour, 2 hours. The moon moves a step every 2 hours. That's really fast. but Mercury doesn't, for a couple of, for a day and a half or a day or half a day, really. So it's like everything is rotating. The planets are saying, hey, we're going to rotate at this rate, the steps. But the steps are always the same thing as the steps. It's just different focus. So when you understand the counting system of the universe, then a few things can happen. One is how to actually, how you step, what you feel like, what your natural steps are. And so your natural steps, this empowers you now to take a step in a direction you haven't been or maybe hesitant to do. So it's like if you know that your mind won't get past this step, well then, take it to the next step, see what happens. And you'll see your life opens up, you'll see things change, you'll see, oh, I was resisting the change. So then the other next highest level, and it won't be in this class, we're going to talk about it, is really the idea of energetically looking at life as an enchantment, not manifestation. So what I realized is we're enchanting Mother Earth. It's like you take your energy and your emotional passion. This passion comes across as an enchantment. In other words, like, don't you want to feel this way too kind of energy, not like, give me a Mercedes, like that life actually comes from this like cooperation, Mother Earth, cooperation with all the feelings. Like, I feel I'd like to go this way. And so if you send that whole understanding of the, allow the person to go into an enchantment, just like a moment where they just take it in, like a meditation point, like if you let the world absorb from a meditative, sensual way in some ways, then actually life manifests faster.
That's so true. It's for me the way that I quote manifest, even though I don't want to define what that is, but the way that I align to that is I feel something, and it's just basically me recognizing and validating that and just focusing on it. And then it just got like everything is guided in that direction, but it's not like a forced thing where I'm trying to think my way into it or like you say, like demand that it happen. It's
Yes,
subtle.
it's true. It's basically kind of like making spiritual love with Mother Earth. It's like you open up your heart, you open up everything, and you offer it. Is how I'm seeing it is. It's a Venus feminine thing. It's not a male thing. And the male's what got you to the point to do that. The male's the part of you that like keeps you strong in the background. Your male part is like to support your feminine part. But your feminine part is what really creates and what really becomes one. And when a woman takes you in, the creation begins. Mother is the same way. So she's a woman. It's like this energy of Mother Earth is take it in, become it, let it take you over, become one with it. That's how the Earth actually works, is what I'm feeling. I mean, I always practice that way, but didn't know it and we look at it. And I think the calming down of the ego has been huge. Like all this stuff with ego and war and everything, it's us working out the ego part. The ego's got to like stop and realize that its job is not to push other people. Like that's not why it's here. We've thought that was for survival, but that's not even true. It's for thrival that the ego's here to like totally take advantage of everything. So we're sort of stuck at this childish level with our ego. That's been part of the problem. Our ego has to set it down and be wrong. Just say to yourself, for a lot of it's like, I was wrong, completely fucking didn't know anything. Yes. And your ego's got to say, sit down and shut up and let the world and energy guide you instead of insisting that it's your way. To the ego. This is you having to become the landlord of your ego too.
And
It's part of it.
and so where do people sign up for that?
Good question. It's Sirius Joy Academy, SiriousJoy.academy.
Okay.
And we're taking seats this whole week, so run for it. And by the way, the password for that $29 off is Astro Monday. The title of the show, yeah, Astro Monday.
Astro Monday. Cool.
Astro Monday gets you right in there. Just this is really for the show, really. I mean, but all of Human Garage can also will be. I talked to Gary, but we'll be invited to the whole Human Garage. But certainly invited to this show, and if you watch it, this is going to be amazing because I honestly think that in the next 6-9 months, you're going to see the world become worse and worse. All right, as far as our old perspectives are concerned, and at the very same time, we're offering this way of thinking, way of looking at your life. And just by taking on the idea that there's another way to look at life, there's another way to run it than the way we've been told. You may not agree with this way of running it, but at that point, you'll realize you can create how you run it. And a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that they can create how life operates and how things go. And it's all them, really, that they're seeing in flutter patterns in reality because they're not aware they're creating. So just looking at this and taking this class over 7 weeks, which is not a number that's by accident. It's that we're going to look at 7 states of awareness. It's going to happen during 7 parts of yourself, 7 months in zodiac. That means you're going to see all parts of your life as you consider this, and then the second half is another 7 weeks. So it's like again your whole self plus a step. So it's really ultimately we're doing 12 steps plus 2, 14 steps. So if you think about 1 month being a step, what that means is that you can completely transform the way you operate your life over this longer course. And that's one of the things that people don't realize. Like, it takes time for your consciousness to understand and wake up, and it takes, full awareness for that long to really come to a place that you're solid with it. Any kind of weekend thing, it's not going to change your life, is what I'm saying. You need at least 40 days
Hmm.
at minimum. That's what
Yeah.
I've learned. So we've timed it cosmically in the sense of knowing that the part of just time and astrology itself will help you with this versus work against you. And once you see how it's helping you, you can then take advantage of where it's helping you at what time. So I think this is the first class of real wizardry, if you will, but we're calling it enchantment, the architecture of enchantment, which came out just over this weekend. Like, I just realized, oh my God, I'm not naming it the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm learning as I go too. It's exciting. Thank you for that time.
Yeah.
SeriousJoy.academy. So you want to get a quick 5 day a week breakdown?
Yeah. Guys, this
Um,
is the day by day play by play that we're
Day
going
by day,
over.
play by play. Yeah, totally. So you can know how to play each day and remember and watch this again if you have to. Yeah, but little parts, excuse me. I'm learning new things about keeping voice. That's good. So, today is step 22, Monday. And so what's important about that is that it's a real interesting day. Today you may be bombarded with something that feels really wrong, feels off, or upsets you. And if you do, that's okay. You just need to look at, does that belong in my life? And why does it, or why does it? Like, this is the most powerful day today. Actually, in the next 24 hours, you'll wake up, to 23, I believe. Yeah. So you may not know how to take today. You may not know anything. Just really record how you feel and what happened, and memorize the feelings of the whole event. Because on step 23, Tuesday, then your mind starts to believe that it's this or that it's pointing you in this direction or that direction. And really, what it is pointing you in a direction. And so, if it's along with your beliefs tomorrow on Tuesday, if you believe it too, like, I believe it's the way it ought to be, and it feels right, then that's what you need to know. Like, know that this is it. No matter how cuckoo or crazy it may be, that's what it needs to be. Right. So for me, myself, it's like, yes, I am controlling reality, and I'm even teaching it. And so a lot of things got to change now that I know this. Like, now that I'm clear of it, it's like, okay, even I'm like, fuck, I've been, playing everything to life's old rules and the old game. And I didn't realize this. Like, I need to start playing the new game now. Fuck the old game. So and game is spelled GAIM, by the way. It's a different spelling of game, because in that is an aim, so that's what a game is, that you're aiming somewhere. That's what a game is, like, I think it was misspelled along the way to hide that fact. It's game, GAIM, right? AIM, yeah. So in that game, you have the aim, and the game is to get your character to become aware, and then to keep that character being able to stay connected to everything. So tomorrow is 23, 24. It's like 22 is probably like 23, excuse me. So Tuesday 23 is where you're kind of like, whoa, holy whoa. Like, this may be the first time you've seen something you haven't seen. Like, it's like, oh my God, that changes everything. So it's kind of a day of confusion. And so on Wednesday, step 24, this is where you feel like, okay, yeah, it's crazy to think this way, but do I feel like that's what I want in my heart? Is that what I wish for as a kid? Like, do I wish for it to be that way? Is that what I wish for? That's what I wish it was? Because I wish it was, and that means that's the truth. That's what I want. Like, if I wish it, I want it. So that means we look at ourselves and go, is this, are we going to allow ourselves to have it if we wish we want it, right? So then 25 is 7, that's Thursday. And so it's like, am I out of my fucking rocker? So that's the day when you kind of go into your intuition. You can be mindful of your feelings. Like, does anything feel off when I consider this? Does anything feel off here? Does it feel off here? What about mother-in-law feel off? What about dad-in-law feel off? Like, what about mom feel off? Like, does anything feel weird about any of this? So the whole day is like searching your feelings. This something feels off, and you'll be told. And you can go into it and like fix it, or you can go into it and like, that's can't be fixed. So that is the day you always get that step 25 day. That's your highest self. That's where you're allowing your highest self to come in and be like, how's it feel, creator of me in this reality? And so your higher self will tell you, this don't feel good. Like, like, that's the only way you can communicate to yourself in the first is like just a feeling, like, "Ugh," you know, and you feel yourself kind of go, so that's as primitive as it is right now, our communication. I believe our communication will be instant in the future, like knowing everything, knowing all of our past lives, knowing everything we're trying to do, and making a call to the avatar in the crowd. But now it's sort of like, caveman, feel bad, but good, feel not feel good. So, okay, that's all we need. And if that can't feel good and can't be worked through, then you can't do it. But if it feels good, you think you can actually change it. You feel like you can change it. You feel like you can measure it. Then you go ahead. It's like, I feel like I can measure. You can trust that feeling that I can fix it. You can trust that feeling that's not stopping the road. You can trust that feeling that's holding things up. Like, we have amazing awareness in our feelings to identify stuff, but we think it's our imagination. It's not. It's real. So then 26 is Friday. 26 Friday is like, okay, am I going to devote myself to this? Like, nothing says stop. Am I going to be crazy and fucking go for it? Am I or not? Do I feel I can do it? Do I feel? And so do I feel my heart open up? Is there no, because the heart 26 means like your heart opens up. It's like, yeah, like I see nothing wrong at all. The heart will be like in this place of like surrender, like I'd be stupid to say no. Like your heart knows it's all like legit, but your mind's probably like, this is fucking crazy. No one's gonna support us. This is fucking. We can't. Are we fucking crazy? Are we gonna fight? Are we fucking seriously? You can throw everything on the line. Like, so the mind's be like, "Boo," because you're going against the program. You're undermining it. It's step five. So it gets undermined. It is a child of the heart. It is not in control at all. The mind is like this device we created to help us navigate. That's all it is. It never has the answer. Your heart is always the one that has to choose. So there comes this like giving, deciding your heart matters more than your mind. Is that rite of passage for people? You have to do that. And then 27 is the next Saturday. It's like, let's do it. Like that's where you jump. Like you're like, okay. Now that will mean something for everyone. And all at the same time. So the whole collective consciousness may be sort of like a bit wired. The other thing too is like if there's some sort of a planned strike, like in a conspiracy way, next weekend, very powerful if it happened then. There'd be a huge disruption of people coming in their power. And I have definitely seen that when we have certain events, they're timed perfectly with the astrology as to the worst time to do it. So I know something consciousness is, some consciousness is making that happen somewhere. Because I know how astrology works. It doesn't just happen on its own. It's because the people did something and made it happen. So it never is just like, whoops, accident. Like there's no such thing as an accident. Those human beings all collectively created it. And so for whatever reason, and so we're also going to realize that most of the bad things that happen to us because collectively we weren't on an agreement that if we just stay calm, we can keep all of ourselves out of danger and we can control the weather over where we live. We can. From what I understand, full control of the weather. I think that's one of the things that Atlantis had was so amazing. It's like it was perfect out. And it's like it rained when we were sleeping, so we never had any. It's like between these hours and like it was all so perfect. So it's like you got up, everything looked fresh. It just been watered, like you watered your lawn, like all the crops just flourished. It was like when you're one with the earth, like it's amazing. So we're learning that over time. I don't know if in our lifetime we'll get to that point, but I'm like, a lot of times storms hit certain areas a lot because they're drawing it to them. They need like to cry it out. They need to get it out. And so the barometric pressure and everything is modified and just like, creates a more of an environment for healing. It's crazy. But mother is like, oh, I'll heal my children. So we work on amazing things. So really Saturday, what you act on, like the feeling you act on, like to put it to the highest point, if you act on that revenge on Saturday, and so it is. If you act on this, and so it is. Whatever you act on is your actual last minute chance to do the right thing. Because once it's in motion, it's not this sitting idea, but it's now moving forward somehow. You put it into motion. That is literally the male side. The male's here at the very last moment to get her pregnant. That's it. Everything else is conscious build up to that moment. And then even when you've opened up and you've completely surrendered, then once you're open and surrendered, you're supposed to take an action, not ever before. So if you're not at a surrender point and you're acting, you're kind of like really messing it up for everyone else because you're doing shit that's not in line with everybody. And so, it's hard to give you what you want when you keep making waves. So that's also part of it. Is the male's here to support the female in us, right? The female cannot stay open. It doesn't have that strong background, that strong, like, got it. So this is a total different way of living life. What I'm proposing, it's a different way of living consciousness. I think considering how crazy things are and people feel out of control, it's worth giving it a try. But you actually might be magical. You just don't know how to tap into it. And I feel like this is a call to our awakening in a bigger scale. It's one thing to know you're one. It's another thing to know you also drive. You know, that's a
Yeah.
shocker to me. Yeah.
And so today the important thing is to notice your feelings. Notice the
Knows your
feelings.
feelings forever. That's the force. That's what Yoda's talking about. I think like George Lucas had to sneak it in. It's the
Mhm.
force. It binds everything. Like get your fucking feelings, but if I do it, I'll be killed. So we'll call it the force. Like I think there's a lot of hints, a lot of movies are trying to tell without getting killed.
Right. Yeah.
People got killed. Not Polanski, but yeah, I'll think about it in a minute. I just think I should name it. But I think there's been directors who've been killed because they were trying to tell you some stuff and they went against whatever is out there. And it's sad, but they're, good for them too at the
Right.
same time. That we have the force to change our life. The force is what you're feeling is the force. That's the force, what you're feeling. And yes, there's bad feelings there because you haven't gone and healed them or loved them. So yes, you've got to clean up your shit and get your, they tell you in like this, the seven Star Wars film, like what happens when he let his anger bottle in and became Darth Vader. Like it's like trying to show you how the energy goes dark is this way.
Right.
You're super cocky and then you have your first fall and then you blame others and you get angry and you put your power on the outside yourself and like boom, that's how the force goes dark right there.
Yeah.
It's really
I
nice teaching in the way I see it.
Perfect. Yeah. And it's the story that we're all going through. Um,
All right now. Yes, we're all
yeah.
together in it. No one's out of it.
Yeah.
It's ascension. It's the beginning of ascension. The real
Well,
beginning. Yeah.
all right. So, unless there's anything important to go over, I think that that's a good place to end it, guys.
Ooh, I think so. Thank you, sir, for letting me speak freely. Again, it is seriousjoy.academy, and Astro Monday is the coupon code. So hope to see you in class. It's going to be great.
Yes. All right. Bye bye, everybody. Thank you,
Bye,
Chris.
everyone. Appreciate you, sir.